Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back again. This is Vetted with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas here on A2D Radio. Y'all come on in the house today. But we have a great guest for today. I'm excited about it because he's a fellow wide receiver. But before we get to that, big dog, you got to read.
Yes, this is Tank here for Philly Sports Trips. The bird season is creeping up on us. The guys are in training camp. Everybody's talking about what game they want to go to. But instead of talking about it, be about it. Go to phillysportstrips.com and let us take care of all the work, worry, and bother, whether it be flight or by bus. We stay at the finest hotels. We have the greatest menu for our tailgate, and you might see a legend or two, including myself, the Tank. And you can also go to phillysportshirts.com and pick up some of the damn Skippy gear and all other types of Philly gear, which you can wear on some of the trips. phillysportshirts.com. Tell them you heard it on A2D Radio. Tell them the Tank sent you, and you heard it on A2D Radio. Don't be too late because the season is slowly creeping up on us. Tonight we have the Hall of Fame game. Yeah. So go to phillysportshirts.com and tell them that the Tank sent you.
Boy, Tank, you know what? You're irresistible.
Thanks, man. You have to give them something to want and long for.
Just irresistible, man. People are going to sign up in drolls. They're just going to come in, just hand over foot, you know.
The menu in the hotel. We was talking about the bus trip as well. They just came from a bus trip in Pittsburgh. I didn't know that they were taking a bus up to Pittsburgh. So we were trying to pump up some of the bus trips because the bus trips are pretty cool because you go up and back. We got the one versus the Jets. We have the one versus the Giants and the one versus we're going to call them Washington, even though they don't play in Washington and D.C. So but we're just going to call those bus trips. And then we have the baller ass. There's a VIP. We have a VIP lounge with myself. It's like I have a whole little bar set up. Like the one we had at the one party, those are the people that come out to our bus trips and our tailgates to set up. So it's a tremendous time. We have cigars as well too. So it's a whole nice little get up.
Everybody who's listening, make sure you get close to Hollis. Make sure you're close to Big Dog. You know why? Because when you're close to him, you're always guaranteed a fan, some air, or air conditioning. You're always guaranteed a cool environment.
Damn Skippy.
Listen, he said, damn Skippy. Listen, we got a great guest. A former Eagle is in the house. He has landed here on A2D Radio, third round draft choice in 1990 with the Eagles, played 8 years in the NFL, 6 with the Eagles, 3 with the Dolphins, out of Arkansas State, Pro Bowler 1992. Y'all, let's welcome our brother, our friend. Come on in the house, Fred Barnett.
Yo,
there he is.
What's up, Vetted?
What's up?
Hey, you know what? You're vetted as well.
Yes.
Hey, I'm about to sign up for one of these sports trips myself. hey, it sounds good, especially with those cigars, bro.
Oh yeah. Damn Skippy.
Well, you know where we got vetted from. We've been vested because we've been in the league long enough for that, and then we also played in the vet.
Yes.
So you're vetted as well. You're part of the group, brother.
Oh, welcome. Indeed. Oh, indeed. I'm vetted.
Listen, I want to thank you for, like you said yesterday when I texted you, being a man of your word. You know,
yes, sir.
I was a little bit, I may not overzealous. I was just being sure to make sure you were going to be on today. So when just so the people know, when I text Fred and asked him to be on the show, he said, sure, I'll be on the show. So I texted him back and let him know, listen, we're going to advertise you're going to be on the show. Don't you disappear tomorrow. And he texted me back and said, you know what? My word is my word. I don't operate like that. And we do. Hollis and I appreciate that because listen, I don't know if this has ever happened to you before. And we're kind of getting off a little bit, but this is just my little gripe, I guess. There are guys that I played with in the league and even played longer than and have accomplished more than in the league. And then, you know, you give them an opportunity or you come together like this and you make a plan to be somewhere, to do something together. And all of a sudden they come up with an excuse or they don't show up and then they don't respond to your calls. It's almost like they treat you like you're less than them or like we never did the same thing. And
let's just say they're not vetted.
They're not vetted. It just rubs me the wrong way because we're all in the same fraternity. We're supposed to lift each other up. So, man, what you up to these days? What you doing these days?
Oh gosh, man, moved to Bermuda about 4 years ago. A lot of people kind of, have this wow complex when they hear that. But
Yes.
we've been traveling to Bermuda for about 17 years. My wife has a company there, and I just started a small whiskey distribution there about 2 years ago. And we have two young kids there, and we just living our life to the fullest, man. We back and forth between there and Philly, and we're doing a lot of traveling as well. As you know, we just got back from Brazil, Sao Paulo. We got some friends there, and we just take it one day at a time, and doing for these kids, and making money, and being parents, and doing the responsible thing.
How's Brooklyn?
Brooklyn is good. Brooklyn actually just Irv, you haven't had a chance to meet Brooklyn.
That's
No.
my guy.
Brooklyn actually just went to the pediatrician. He's just get his annual checkup. Brooklyn is 5'10". He weighs about 230. He wears a 13 shoe. He's 12 years
12
old.
years old.
You
Brooklyn.
showed me a
12.
picture of him. Yeah, you showed me
He's
a picture
12.
of him.
Yeah,
He's
man,
12, but Brooklyn's good. He's actually the shot put champ
oh,
on the island of Bermuda for his age. So,
cool.
and actually the Olympic organization there in Bermuda is working with him. So we're going to see how that pan out. And interestingly, Tank, get this. He just asked me the other day, you think I should play football? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
But
listen, are you staying in shape? Are you staying in shape just in case he decides he wants to be the man of the house?
you know what? I play a psychological game with my kids. The physical
Okay.
game. I play the mind game with them.
Well, listen,
Yes,
you everybody's excited about the Eagles.
Of course.
Season is just about underway. We're slightly, I guess you could say, into training camp. I guess they just put the pads on this week. I've had a revelation about training camp now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you've had an opportunity to play for several coaches, different than the ones. Buddy Ryan, Rich Kotite, Ray Rhodes. Nothing like Nick Sirianni. Tell us what your view is and what you're thinking about now in terms of when you look at the Eagles and how the coaching staff coaches them and just the things that they're going through right now, particularly in training camp.
Oh, it's of course, as we all know, it's very, very different. It was, every day in training camp in the 90s, you had to make the team every day. And now, I think with the amount of money that the guys make, with the liability, so to speak, with the money that's on the table, and just trying to stay healthy. We got the concussion thing that we're dealing with. I think the league is just trying to keep everybody healthy, and of course keep everybody competitive as well. I remember the first time I went. I forget exactly who was coaching. I think maybe Chip Kelly was coaching.
Yeah.
The first time I came back to a training camp, and they had a DJ there, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
I'm looking around and I'm hearing music, and I'm like, are you serious? Can these guys be serious?
And I think I was at that same one with you, Fred, because it was like the one that when they invited the alumni and they had the DJ going, I was like,
they had a DJ.
What the hell?
What's going on? Guys can eat certain things now. We you know what we ate. We go on road trips. We had bucket of KFC.
Yes, sir.
And we had everything. So
the rookies was in charge of getting it.
Yes.
Do they do that anymore, or is there any rookie hazing so to speak?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any rookie hazing.
I know they say. I know now they make them. They make the rookies sing. That's
sing,
yeah. It is. It is actually turned into a talent contest because when they do the football 101 for the women at the stadium, they have them the rookies up there lip syncing on stage, and actually Jordan Mailata, his rookie year, he said, "Nah, I want to sing for real."
He's gonna sing it.
He sang for real. That's what. But it's pretty funny too, though. But I think they still have to get certain foods and stuff. But it was like they still have the lineman. We had the lineman dinner, and now, I know each position have their own dinner, so it's still all in good fun. But I don't think it's any hazing the way it used to be.
I seriously doubt that.
when I was a rookie,
Yeah.
and several years into my career in New England, they would catch guys at nighttime in the dorms.
Oh God.
And the big lineman would grab them and take them out to the field, strip them of their clothes, and tape them to the goalpost.
Oh,
And they
gee.
would be there taped to the goalpost the next morning when the team was coming out for practice.
But you had to be pretty. But you
out
had to
there
be
in their underwear.
But you had to be a jerk for them to do that to you.
Well, they would take the linemen would get the smaller guys. They never did to me, but guys like myself. So you get the bigger guys who would grab one of the smaller guys, and they only did it to maybe one or two guys.
That's because the people who being jerks.
Yeah. Well, that was a part of the initiation. Yeah. This is what I did. I was the first player taken in the draft that year. So being a first round draft choice, I had a little bit of money. So when it was time for me to sing or time for me to do things like that, what I did was I had a special night where I hired a band. I bought food for the whole team, and I had strippers come in for the whole team. And we had a whole big shindig. They left me alone after that.
They left you alone.
They left me alone after that. I paid for that whole night. Then they left me alone. They're like, Irving Fryar, he's all right.
Now, my first few practices, I can remember like going all out, because for me, coming from Arkansas State, little Arkansas State, and from Mississippi to Arkansas, I got to make the team, man.
Right.
So I'm like, I got to stay focused. I didn't go out. I didn't do nothing. And my first couple of practice, I'm like blazing. I'm blazing down the field. And I can remember, I forget exactly who it was that came at me after practice to take me to the goalpost. And I heard somebody said, don't mess with him. And I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I'm special.
or maybe they
didn't mess with him.
You made the team. Maybe
So I was like, okay, all right. And a couple other rookies, kind of caught it, but I didn't catch too much of it.
There was the one time when I think when me and Irv first got here, where they Mike, I don't know if you remember Mike Sampson, as they call him Sampson. He told him he wasn't buying no damn chicken.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Oh no, you got to buy chicken, bro. Yeah, that's one thing I did. I bought chicken.
Yeah, so they took his playbook and put it in a ice block, a block of ice. They wrapped it up in one of those big Ziplocs.
Ziploc bag, yeah.
And then they put it in a block of ice for him.
See how you get along with that. Listen, we got to take a break. Stay with us, Freddie. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, we're back, everybody. A2D Radio. Listen, I didn't talk about our agree to disagree today.
What's the agree to disagree? Because I was gonna propose it to Fred.
Okay, well, here it is, right there. Eagles linebacker Nakobe Dean will have a breakout season in 2023 this year.
Well,
do you agree or do you disagree?
I agree, but I don't. That's not what I was going to ask Arkansas Fred. I thought it was something else up there, but it's one of our other topics. But I agree that he's going to have a breakout season because I feel like he just gives you that sense of calm when you see a linebacker who's meticulous as he is, and the things that he got. The one thing that made me gave me a breath of fresh air was when he was playing special teams all this one game, and then all of a sudden Kazir White went down. And he was able the way he came in, stepped right in. He didn't say I need time to warm up anything. No. So as soon as he came in there, they tried him right away, and he was like, "Not today, not on duty." So that's
listen. A dog don't warm up before he chase a car. He just start chasing, bro. He's gonna stretch for it. He's gonna get warmed up for it. No, go get it. Go get it. Come back with it. Yeah.
That's a good point. And when you're in a position like he's in, and that he didn't get in as much playing time, of course, now you got a chip on your shoulder, and like, let me show this organization what I'm all about. So I agree that he'll have a breakout season if he stays healthy and if he's on the field for sure.
I think I agree with this too. I think that's kind of I kind of put that one up there. Agree or disagree. I believe he's going to have that breakout season because a lot of the guys, or some of the guys that are on the defense, played with him in college, though they may have gotten drafted before him and may have gotten bigger contracts than him, may have gotten more notoriety than him. But when he was playing with them on that Georgia football team, on that defense, he was the quarterback. They looked to him to call the plays. They looked to him to keep that defense together and
to make the checks.
To make the checks and the adjustments. And that's the same position he's going to be in this year. So I think the same thing is going to continue. They're just at another level. They're playing the same college guys that they played when they were in college. They're just playing at another level.
He earned the green dot on his helmet. The green dot is for all of those who don't know. It's he's the quarterback of the defense due to Bill Belichick stealing hand signals from defensive hand signals. We have
Bill Bella who?
Bill Belichick. So we have they do the stealing hand signals. We have a microphone in their two players' helmets now on the defensive side of the ball.
I was just making sure you said Bella Cheats and not Bella Cheeks.
No, Bill Belichick.
Like in butt cheeks.
Not Bella Cheeks. Cheeks, not cheeks.
Okay, I'm just making sure where you're coming from. So Freddie, listen, they're making a big deal. It came out, they postponed it and paused it and tried to time it for the right time so they can maximize it. This whole Kelly Green uniform is back out. You played when I came to Philly, we kind of passed in the night. I went to Philly, you went to Miami. I went to where you left, you went to where I left. Yeah, but I came the first year. My first year here in Philly was the first year of the new uniform.
Me too.
Yeah. You played in that Kelly Green, man. What do you think about all this talk with the Kelly Green? And
I think it's great, and I think it really serves as a testament of who we were as players to the fans then. And of course, you got the free agency that's going on right now, and that's been going on for a while. But when we were in the 90s, when we played, when there was one guy on the team, he was there 5-6 years.
Right.
So the fans got a chance to really, get to know players, get to know the Seth Joyners, the Reggie Whites, of course, who moved on, and the Clive Simmons, and guys like myself who hung around for a while. And they just kind of blended us in and meshed us with who that Kelly Green was.
Right.
And now the fact, or even the thought of bringing it back, it kind of brings back that mindset of who we were as a team. I mean, there was one year in I think it was 91, with the defense that we had and the offense that we thought we had. We were like, this is our year. And I think the second or third game, Randall gets hurt, I think in Green Bay, and that just kind of squashes our year. But from a defensive standpoint, it was really the cornerstone of who we were as a Philadelphia Eagles team, and it's interesting now to see. I would ask you guys, who would you rank the better of the units, the defense or the offensive unit? Because of course, I mean, from a number standpoint, you got your defense that was number one last year, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, too, you got a high-powered offense that's putting numbers on the board like crazy.
Well,
and going into this season, man, it's of course, it's really easy to acknowledge that they feel confident, for themselves. But at the same time, too, I think there's a cloud in everybody else's locker room, like, oh, there they are. Oh my goodness, here they come.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Irv, when we're doing one-on-one, you're the guy.
Yep.
And you can see in the defensive back's face that you're the guy.
Yep.
But he still has to come up and challenge you. And he still got to come up.
Yep.
And I really feel that, teams that play the Eagles this year will have this mindset that, hey, here they come. let's do what we can do. And if they get lucky, they get lucky. But if the Eagles take care of business, you could see a very successful season and possibly another Super Bowl.
Yeah, the thing I think about this team right now, I think the offense is going to be slightly ahead of the defense because the defense is learning a new defensive structure. But I think the defense will still be sound, but we won't see what they are until probably like the fifth or sixth game when they start to see the things that the coach Desai is doing and they're working and they're starting to come to fruition. And you're not in the same coverages all the time.
Yeah.
And teams can't predict what you like because it's easy to whoop up on the sucker team because we got a lot of our sacks and stuff on teams that didn't have a really good offensive line. And we were able to outman them even though we were outgunned. It's 5-4 every time. So but this time it'll be a little bit different because you have a coach that's gonna do some disguises. It's gonna make you think. It's like if you don't make the opposing team's offense think, when you come up against a team that's just as good as you, you're hamstrung. You're going to get out coached. And I think that's one of the things that we showed up this year with especially with the talent that we have defensively. We have a defensive talent to shut some people out and put them on notice. Just like you said, here they come again. That's what it should be.
Right.
But offensively, I feel like.
I agree with you, Big Dog, because on defense, for the simple fact, I believe the offense is going to be ahead of the defense in regards to the beginning of the season, which isn't normal. Usually the defense is ahead of the offense because it takes a little time for continuity and all, because there's a lot of moving pieces on offense as opposed to just, doing the things that defensive guys do, just attack. But we have a lot of pieces that we have to replace. Hargrave's gone. We got the Kobe Dean just starting off. We got safeties, guys that we're replacing more so than on offense. Everybody's back on offense except for we got the new right guard. That's it. And these guys, but even then, together, so they're going to hit the ground running when normally it's the opposite way. So I see that happening. And then with what you said, Fred, a little while ago, with this offense, you talked about how your season went to pot when Randall Cunningham got hurt. It just shredded the whole season. Mm-hmm. We're in the same position right now with the Eagles. If something we saw last year when Jalen got hurt and his backup was in Minshew,
he's a backup for a reason.
We had a backup for a reason. But even in the league, all across the league, there's such a big gap between the starters. I'm not just the quarterbacks, but the starters and the second string guys. There's such a big gap because of the money now that teams suffer when their starters get hurt. We're like that. We're in that position right now. If something happens to Jalen, we are in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
But the one thing that when you were talking to Irving about the offense and just replacing the right guard, you still have a guy who's been in our system who they're going to start out in camp. Although I don't think my guy Tyler Steen is going to come up and handle business, but you still have a guy who knows the system, so it's not going to be that far of a drop off. As a good guy that you drafted high, and that it should be the predecessor for Jason Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But and I think the team will be, of course, as you mentioned, Irv. I think it'll be a successful year if nobody gets hurt. Interestingly, football is not the type of game where you just kind of walk around and be careful. It's a very physical game. Be careful, don't hurt yourself.
No, it's a very physical game. You got to be the hammer. You have to.
You got to initiate. So, as you mentioned. The heart and soul of this offense right now is Jalen. Yeah. It's Jalen Hurts, and if he stay healthy, we can look for an interesting year.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It was one of the questions that we was going to talk about camp. Have you ever been coming into training camp and had any contract situations, Fred?
There was one time I had a contract situation, but it wasn't as bad. We were close enough to where we got it done. It wasn't, a situation where I had to hold out or, felt disgruntled or what have you. So I can't really speak to that situation in terms of experience.
Right. We have a situation now with Hassan Reddick that I think the media, everything was cool. You know,
Yeah.
All the contracts were done. You know, Harry Roseman did a phenomenal job during the offseason draft, getting guys signed, extending contracts, renewing contracts, all that. He got it all done before camp. Yeah. We're in camp, and some of the other teams in the league, they're dealing with some of those issues. But we had the Eagles had no issues, and we as the media. And we're part of the media now. We got to poke the bear. We always got to find something to create a story. And I believe somebody brought this up that, you know, Hassan Reddick, he's been phenomenal. What, 16 sacks? Was it 16 sacks last year?
Yep.
Led the league in sacks.
Yep.
And he's in the second year now of a 3-year deal, but he's still like in the, you know, being paid as far as the edge rushers, somewhere between 16 to 24. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but he's not the highest. He's not one of the highest paid edge rushers. And someone brought that up to him, and I was watching the interview, and without saying it, he was saying he wasn't happy. You know, he started talking about, you know, I'm done trying to tell people who I am and how I can play. I let my playing talk, let my talk be on the field, you know, and how I perform on the field. So I'm not going to say it to anybody anymore. So they kind of rubbed him the wrong way and kind of started something that really wasn't there. They started something that really wasn't there. So now it's not an issue, so to speak, but now it's in the minds of the people, because now it's in the media. Now it's on Hassan Reddick's mind. And it's just something that really was unnecessary. And I think that the media really caused that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where everything is going along, and here comes the tomfoolery. Here comes the tomfoolery. It's like you said, that was something that probably could have been brought up at the next year, because it would be the last year of the year. But he's only in the second year of his deal. If I was him, I would just concentrate on flourishing and handling business. So let like he said in the end, what he say, he'll let his play do all the talking. And that's I was happy he said that.
Yeah,
right. Well, it's a different approach. Okay, we got another read, Big Dog. We got to read. We got to take another break. Big Dog's got to read. Watch this, Fred. Watch this and listen to this. Go ahead, Big Dog.
It's a take here for Philly Sports Trips, and the bird season is upon us. They're in training camp, and the regular season is about to start. So, you know, I know you want to go to some of the away games for the birds. So why not let us take care of all of that at phillysportstrips.com? We stay at the best hotels. We have the best menu, and you might see a legend or two like myself, maybe Fred. You know, maybe you never know who you might see. And you can tell them you heard this on A2D Radio, and also go get you a damn Skippy t-shirt from phillysportshirts.com. Tell them the Tank sent you, and you heard it here on A2D Radio. Also, don't forget about our ballin' ass bus trips, where we have the VIP lounges set up each and every time out there, where we have the cigars and the premium choice liquor and a ballin' ass spread of food. So go to phillysportstrips.com and tell them that the Tank sent you and you heard it on A2D Radio.
we got BAB trips.
Ballin' ass bus trips, baby.
It's a Skippy t-shirt.
It's damn Skippy.
Damn Skippy. I thought he said go get you a damn Skippy t-shirt.
Yeah,
that's what it says on it.
That's what it says now.
Yeah,
damn Skippy.
I got mine in another room.
No, I got you.
I got to give him one. I got to give Fred one because he's a guest on the show. What size you are, Fred?
Oh, XL.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I done put on a little something.
You ain't no XL, man. I just saw you the other week, man. You ain't no XL.
He's a small guy.
Yeah, you're a large. Send him a large, man. And if he doesn't fit it, that will convict him to get himself to the point where he can fit it. So Fred, what do you think about? Because we're old school, the three of us. We've done it. You know, in fact, all 17 years of my time in the league, all was 2-a-days, full pad, that kind of stuff. I never experienced anything like what I saw the other day when I went to practice. It was like, I heard Brandon Graham talk about the fact that he was excited to go to training camp. I was never excited to go to training camp, man. What?
I was excited to get it over.
Yeah, I was never excited to. I was
checks.
Yeah, I was, kind of anxious that the season was going to start.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew I had to get through training camp first, so I was never excited about. I was prepared for training camp, but I was never excited about training camp. Talk to us about.
Go ahead. I just had a when you talk about training camp, I had a quick question because both of you guys went to different teams. And and when I first went to this other team, I was it wasn't a cakewalk when we were doing our training camps here. Now, it will be the epitome of be careful what you wish for. When I went to the Saints, at the end of a 2-hour full padded practice, he said on the line, I was like, what? What? I didn't either because the entire 10 years the 10 years up to that point that I had been playing, I had been playing with the Birds. We never did conditioning after practice. After 2-hour practice in Jackson, Mississippi, at 100 and some degrees. He said on the line, I say what? Yeah. So that's why I was like, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Did you guys encounter any of those type of surprises as you change teams?
That's actually what I got at Miami with Jimmy Johnson. It was Jimmy Johnson's first year.
That's why I left Miami, because I did not want to play for Jimmy Johnson. That's no, Fred. That's exactly because I was I could have stayed there, but I was a free agent. They asked me to stay, but Jimmy Johnson was coming in. I'm like, man, I'm not playing for that cat. I didn't know. I just didn't. I'm not playing for him. No,
we ran like track stars, bro. It was run, gas, 200s, 200. Oh my God, man, I was in so good a shape, dude. I could run in my sleep.
Do you know that? That we had they was running me so much. You remember Ronaldo Wynn, the defensive end / D tackle, Ronaldo Wynn? They brought him in. You know how they do those Tuesday visits?
Yeah.
Brought him in on a Tuesday visit, and I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, Tank. He said, man, you slim. I was like, did they sign yet? He said, nah. I say, don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey, big dog. Is that the first time you ever heard you were slim?
Yeah, because they was running the hell out of me down there. You know how they do those Tuesday what you call it? He had it, and then even we had Victory Mondays and stuff. He had us still cut. We was running on Monday after the game.
Wow.
That's why I was Joe.
That's stupid.
I was like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's coaching stupid.
Yeah, it was very physical in the early years in 90 with Buddy, of course. And when Rich took over, he just kind of like, he took that same pattern,
right.
Doing the 2-a-days, and there were, at least one practice a week. We'd go live, So, that was all I knew. Yeah. So I'm like, this is football at another level. This is just what it is.
Right.
And as you mentioned, that to see the guys now,
yeah,
it's like, wow.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. That's what I wanted to ask you, because that's what we knew. And it was the same for me. When I saw this I went to practice the first time a couple of years ago. They got music. I'm like, what is this? I was just baffled because I never ever experienced anything like that in my career. I've had a revelation about it, and I'll talk to you or mention it, speak on it when you finish commenting on my question. But given the fact that that was never our mindset, we can't really comprehend what's happening now. It's been tough. What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts about today's game and their approach, particularly for when it comes to preseason, when it comes to the preseason games, when it comes to training camp, when it comes to practices?
Well, number one, I understand it. And I understand, I think, overall what the league is trying to do. And I understand what organizations are trying to do in terms of keeping the players healthy and keeping the players on the field. Now, the best thing about it, of course, obviously, all the teams are doing it. It's the same way. You don't have one team that's practicing like they did in the 90s, and the other team is practicing, like they're doing in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm,
but
I think the Eagles are taking it a step further, though. They're doing a little less on the field and a little more in the classroom.
And from my understanding, too, I think there's a certain amount of time that they have to spend on the field, that they can only spend only a certain amount of hours on the field during the week as well, per, I think, the Players Association. So there's so many rules and regulations that are in place. But sometimes I have to think that, when I see some of these injuries, if guys would have been kind of more physical during training camp or more physical during the preseason,
right.
if this is something that the bodies would have been ready for,
right.
And at the same time too, that balance in from a standpoint of the illegal hits. Now, I mean, we'd be running our uniforms would be clean.
Be clean, running through the middle of the field with no care in the world.
You better not touch me.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was is when you mentioned that how they run clean now. It's like when I was in high school and stuff, and I started out playing linebacker. It was like, and somebody ran a crossing route, and I was just a freshman. He ran across my face, and the coach came out there, and he pretty much jumped him. He jumped all in my jersey with me. So you don't let no receiver cross your face like that.
Nope.
So ever since then, I was jacking. Even when we did the little zone traps, and I would drop out into for the crossing route, I would jack them up there. But now you do that, and you pretty much are going to get penalty flag. You're going to get penalty flag, no matter what. And the one thing that when you guys were talking about it, it resonated in my mind, and I had the opportunity to interview Bill Parcells one time, and we were talking about the way that practice was being tenderized, and it's like the only way that you're going to get your body ready to play football is to actually play football. So you're going to continue to see those soft tissue injuries and stuff because they don't practice. If you don't hit anybody, when your body hits somebody, it's going to be trauma. Yeah. It's like until you get. That's why, and I never understood it until when I watch now. Sometimes you see the slothfulness and the sloppiness of the offensive and defensive line early in the season because they have been going against each other. The intensity level, the intensity level is there, but the technique and the technical side of it is not there because it takes time to get into that mode. And if you don't put that time in, you're going to see what we see. You're going to see guys missteps, elongated steps. You're going to see guys grabbing and holding. You got to get all of that out of your system, and the only way you can get that out your system up front is live action. Because
do it.
Yeah, if it's not live action, it's nothing.
Interestingly, we as being human, the more you get, the more you want.
Right.
So I'm thinking, what's the NFL going to look like in the next 10 years?
Flag football.
What is it going to look like in the next 10 years?
The Pro Bowl.
With how it's progressed so quickly, from say 97, 2000 to now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. With how it's progressed and all the rules and regulation with the the NFLPA getting involved and how much practice time. What would it look like in the next 10 years? Because I just feel like it's going to progress.
Well, here's the revelation I had the other day. I was in practice last week, and I'm watching, and the music's playing, and they don't have their pads on. They're kind of walking around. It's a big show, it's a big circus because all the fans are there. No fans were coming to our practice. They had water right there. They had pretzels there. They got music. I'm like, my gosh.
VIP tents.
I'll be on one tomorrow.
Security guards. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot of show. It's a lot of fame, and it's just a lot of lights and glitter and stuff. So I leave the practice. I get in my car and I start driving home. I get home. When I come in the house, it's quiet in the home. Now I have a ringing in my ears. that I do. I have a ring. Okay. I don't know if you guys have it, but I have a ringing in my ears. That's happened since football. It's a permanent ringing. I don't hear it unless I'm sitting in a quiet space. Unless it's nighttime and I haven't fallen asleep yet. I'm laying in the bed and it's quiet. The TV's off and it's quiet. Then I hear the ringing in my ears. It's there all the time, but I can only hear it when it's quiet. I can't hear it right now because there's noise. Yeah. There's stuff interfering with it or blocking it and masking it. And I started thinking to myself, I said, you know what? If I was practicing like that back when I was playing, maybe I wouldn't have this ringing in my ears. Because I had 2 days for 17 years and it was full pads. You know, when I first started in the league, it was full pads, two-a-days,
practice,
6 weeks, 6 weeks of training camp. We didn't leave the camp for 6 weeks.
The worst.
So maybe I wouldn't have. So I understand a little bit. I had a revolution that maybe I wouldn't have this ringing in my ears had we done things the way things are being done now. So to that extent, I can appreciate what the but like Hollis and I were talking yesterday. How do you build the continuity of your team, the continuity of the defensive players, the continuity of the offensive players if you're not out on the field playing, going full speed?
Not only that,
before it actually counts.
Not only that, Irv, it's like when you smaller guys, you guys don't have as much chub around yourself, chubbiness around yourself. You guys strain muscles and stuff. You have to build your muscles up to be able to take the hits that you're taking during the season. Because sometimes you just can't avoid it. And the other part, when you were talking about the ringing part, I thought your ears was ringing because you was at that baller ass practice and they was partying and bouncing and whatnot. That's what I thought.
No, that's not what my ears were ringing.
But it's like when you look at it, it's kind of a two-way street. They have to figure out a healthy balance, because if you look at it right now, somebody's Joe Burrow had a calf strain. Nobody touched him. You see some guys with the hamstrings and stuff, and nobody's touching them. It's like, see,
that's my question about them coming in, because what they're doing to avoid injuries. They're doing to maximize or lessen the chances of guys getting hurt.
Right.
So players are supposed to come in to camp in shape. Fred, you know how hard we worked as receivers during the off season to get ready for training camp. Hollis, you know how hard you worked during the off season so that you come in, because you knew what you were in store for when you came into training camp. So we came into training camp in the best shape of that year, the best shape we were going to be in for the year, so we can maintain for the season. If these guys are training the way they're supposed to, and they're coming into camp and they're having walkthroughs, how do you get a soft tissue injury? That's what baffles me. I don't understand that.
The funny thing is the soft tissue stuff and the joint stuff that's happening. One of my buddies, he's a kinesiologist. He said it's what they're doing in the off season. They're doing too many reps and too many unnecessary reps. And man, your joints can only take so many reps.
So they're working too hard. They're working too hard.
Yeah, and I think they're a little bit overdoing it and doing the wrong kind of like movements and stuff. Like the human body is only supposed to do so much.
Well, the human body wasn't made to put a uniform on and to crash into one another. First of all, the game of football wasn't made for the human body.
Mine was. My body. When I came out, I had a football in my hand and a helmet on.
No, you were made
with a t-shirt on that says "Destroy."
Hollis, you were made to walk around with a Speedo on because you sexy. You were made to be sexy.
Damn Skippy.
Damn Skippy.
There you go. But yeah, I don't, I have a hard time with that when guys, I mean, they haven't had any in Philadelphia here,
right?
But across the league, there have been some soft tissue injuries in the first couple of days.
When
there hasn't been any contact, when they haven't even had pads on yet, when they haven't had to do any testing. Remember, we used to have to come to camp, and the first day was morning was your testing, and then you had to go out and put full pads on the afternoon.
Yeah,
and we have to look at too. There's a possibility with guys knowing exactly how practice is going to be, how hard it's going to be. They're probably not working out as much either. They probably kind of taking some days off, and I'm just going to go to camp and skip around and listen to the DJ, and all of a sudden they get that quick move and like, I got a hamstring.
And that's what I'm saying. That's how you get soft tissue injuries. Soft tissue injuries. You move quick, and you haven't been moving quick.
Exactly. I think guys are not working as hard.
Yeah. The funny thing is that when you just said that, I was like, you're probably right, because I hadn't done anything for a while, and I had the notion to go out and join a kickball league and kick the ball and try to take off, and the hand without stretching or nothing. The old great cow just ain't what he used to be. I tell you,
tried to shift gears and tore all your transmission, huh?
It did. Oh my God, it was viscosity breakdown.
we got our last commercial before we finish the show. We got a lab. We're going to go to this commercial and then have our last section or last spot. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right. We got our last spot here, our last few minutes on the
Yeah,
show.
it was a quality question, and
What was a quality question?
the
Because
quality
you asked it.
well, no, it wasn't me. It was the weather.
Okay. So one of our guests asked. Okay, yes, it's a quality question. Then
Yeah, he said. Well, they say Sidney Brown has jumped from taking third team reps to first team reps.
Right.
I know he's highly regarded, but are we hurting that bad at safety, or is he that good? I have a quick answer for it because I watched him play in college. Him and his brother play in college.
Okay.
I think he's that good, and I fully expected this because he's one of those safeties that the best way to describe it is like when you want a safety that's not afraid of contact, but also that can cover and is smart.
Right.
You get all that in this kid because he had a couple of years under Lovie Smith. So it was like when you look at it, you watch him. Just watch how he plays. I love this kid, and I love his story. Him and his brother's story. They I don't know if you heard. They did the whole 30 for 30 on him and his brother because him and his mom and stuff. They were homeless and stuff, and his mom because his mom got sick and stuff, and she sent them to school in Florida and stuff. And they did it's a whole. Sometimes when we think about things, and we think times are hard, just think about having to be a man as a young boy,
as a young
boy, and they also have a little sister too. So. It's, go ahead, Fred.
I think I'm seeing a trend, and you guys tell me if you see this. It seemed like in the early 90s, of course, when I played, that first, second, and even sometimes third round guy had this incubation period to where he's developing. It seems like there are quite a few guys that are coming into the league their first year now and going right to the field and getting right on the field. And and it kind of brought up that thought when you spoke about Brown,
right?
Now kind of being in the lineup and being able to possibly be that guy if his number is called. And I could just remember. My early years, how, when guys were first, second round, there was this period where they just kind of took a year to kind of figure it all out.
Right.
And I'm wondering if it's the offense, the offensive plays, the defensive plays, or what is it, that's preparing these guys earlier. It seems to be, preparing them earlier to get on the field quicker than they used to.
Well, I think with speaking to Sidney, it wouldn't surprise me that if the first game of the season he's starting against New England up in New England, because he's that kind of talent. When they brought him on the team, I think that's what they were looking for, to bring a young guy like that in to come in and be that starter. They've got quality guys on the outside of the corner, so he's got leadership already there for him, so they can help balance him. But to speak to your point, Fred, I think that's kind of it happens as far as that incubation period. It's happening now, but at times I think in the past it wasn't happening. For instance, my own situation, when I came in as a rookie, I started day one. I mean, I was first round draft choice. They were like, get your behind in there. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for a number of different reasons, mainly because they drafted me as a wide receiver and I played wing back. I was a wing back in college. I wasn't a wide receiver. My one-on-ones in college was blocking linebackers and blocking defensive ends out of a three-point stance. I didn't run routes against a corner or a safety in one-on-ones. So my experience in the NFL, as far as running doing one-on-one in practice, My first time doing that was the first practice. I'd never done that before, and I had been in the 3-point stance. So it took me some time.
Hold on. Did you get a 3-point stance your first?
I was just about to ask.
No. I didn't go out and get 3-point stance. No, I didn't. I'd have got knocked on my head because they were, that bump and run would have been pushed me right to the ground. But no, I had to learn, and I really didn't have a coach that was helping me to develop. It was just kind of there.
Let's just acknowledge
because Jordan Davis, he's a guy that was first rounder last year, and they incubated him pretty much this year. Last year.
The one thing that I do know is if you're a draft pick, they're going to give you the incubation period. I was undrafted, so when I came in, I had, in order for me to make the team, I had to contribute like right away. So in knowing that, I went through the period where I had to make sure that I knew everything that was in the playbook. So whenever they asked me to go in, it wasn't you go in and you play. I had to, at first I thought I was gonna just play left tackle. No, would I go in there? It's whatever the vet didn't want to play. Mm-hmm. So I had to play right and left defensive tackle. So it's like, and I had to, you had to know it from both sides, and it's just like you said, they give them that incubation period because at the time Jermaine Mayberry was the first round pick. He wasn't playing. You remember he wasn't playing at all. And I played every game, and I ended up starting. I think they brought me along at a faster pace because I was an undrafted free agent, and some people get it. Some people get it faster than others. And
you know what? You could have been, had it turned out differently. You could have been that sacrificial lamb that they just had to sacrifice because you were that free agency. They had not necessarily invested in you financially like they would a draft choice.
Right.
So you were, to them, for the most part, you were sacrificed. Now, did that work out in their? Yeah, but you produced, so that worked out not only in the team's favor, but it worked out in your favor. Yeah, because they found out that you could actually play and play well at that level.
Right. Yeah. But the part that is that we're speaking about is the first round draft picks. They get more times to mess up than anybody.
Of course.
At first and second, it's like they're gonna ride that because they don't. The front offices do not want to be wrong about anybody. Remember, we had a fireman here for 3 or 4 years for unnecessariness. The guard that we drafted? Yeah, he was a fireman.
He's a fireman.
The fireman. Danny Watkins.
I know what you're talking about.
What year was he drafted?
Danny Watkins. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know.
But they kept him on the team, and he was a human turnstile.
He was God revolving door.
And when you look at and see, the thing is somebody was asking me about this. How do you pick draft picks and stuff? I was like, you don't go and get a 26-year-old dude that's playing against 18 and 19-year-old kids. Right. He's already dominating. He's a grown man playing against kids. Yeah. So it was like, and you brought him here to play against a grown man, and the grown man pretty much took his lunch.
Yeah.
What happens?
So Fred, while and I love you, man. I appreciate you being on the show today.
Man, thanks for having me, brother.
Good too, man. You got your stuff trimmed up, man. Your head shaved. Got the schoolboy glasses on. You just the epitome of.
I'm trying.
You're the epitome of wealth, brother, and class.
I'm trying, brother.
Yeah. I'm trying. The epitome of wealth and class. You're very articulate, man. We appreciate you being on the show today. So, give us your. I mean, it seems to me as though the Eagles. There's a gap between the Eagles and everybody else in the NFL.
Yeah.
And because of that gap, if they're able to maintain personnel, 90%, 80% of this personnel over the next 3 or 4 years, they have a legitimate opportunity to go to the Super Bowl a couple times in these next few years. You got a prediction this year for the Eagles?
Of course, barring injury. And I think we've made that point earlier, and that they have exactly what it takes, and I think they know that, and more so, I think their opponents know that. I think Dallas knows that. I think the Giants knows that. I think the NFC knows, who should be the dominant team in the league this year in terms of the NFC and of course the NFC East. Now, the thing is that even though we all know that, we know that, they know it, we still have to come out and play.
Yep.
Because what happens is if you, and of course you guys know this, when you're the champ, everybody's after your head.
Yep.
Get
But
everybody
in the
best shot.
in the back of their mind, they know as soon as you put the grip on them,
Right.
there they go. Okay,
Mhm.
we get, and we're gonna have a good handshake after you kick our butts. But I think that if like we said earlier, barring injury, anything crazy happens, off the field, I think that if they stay focused, they have exactly what it takes, to have of course, a playoff run for the next 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
but possibly a Super Bowl run, possibly a couple Super Bowl runs for the next maybe 3 or 4 years, for sure.
Healthy.
Yeah,
Yes. Healthy.
Is this offense stoppable? Is this offense, the Eagles' offense, unstoppable when they're healthy?
I don't think anybody can stop them. Yeah, and Kansas City didn't stop them.
Mm-mm.
In the Super Bowl,
Kansas City didn't have a top 10 defense either.
Who if someone would have come to you, if the football god would have come to you and say, look, they're going to score 35, you'd have been like, oh, we win.
Oh, we win.
Right.
Yep, we win.
That's right.
We won.
Yep.
No.
But damn, Kansas City goes out to score 38.
But you forgot the guy's going to say, but Patrick Mahomes
yeah.
on one leg is going to be better than 35.
Yeah.
Playing man under and cover 5.
So you with what they have on paper right now, and with what they have proved they can do, especially offensively, they're going to average 30 points a game. I don't see how they can't.
Right. That's cool. That's good. Our last few minutes, hang in there with us, Fred. We're going to listen to Hollis with the history with Hollis. Hollis always gives us some history for this particular day. This is August 3rd. Yes. At the end of the show, we always end the show with history with Hollis. So Hollis, take it away. Give us some history.
Yeah. Today is August the 3rd, 2023. It's the 215th day of the year. There's only 150 of these suckers left in this year. So today's national holiday is Grab Some Nuts Day.
Who? What? Whoa. Maybe no, Fred had to leave. Don't leave, Fred.
It's peanut. It means peanuts. It's okay. It's also National Crop Dusting Day. It's IPA Day and Watermelon Day. Got some events here for you. In 1900, Firestone Tire and Rubber Company was founded. In 1921, the very first aerial crop dusting took place in Troy, Ohio, to get rid of the caterpillars in the crops. In 1943, General George S. Patton, he slapped a United States GI around in the hospital. Was called him a coward. It was one of his most god-awful moments known to man. Old blood and guts. I'll tell you about the rest of that story later. 1936, Jesse Owens, he won the 100-meter dash in the Berlin Olympics, putting Hitler to shame. 1946, Santa Claus Land opens. You know what? Santa Claus Land was the very first theme park in Santa Claus, Indiana. In 1946, it opened. 1949, the Basketball Association of America and the National Basketball League merged, which would later form the NBA, National Basketball Association. And they got some birthdays here. 1925, Marv Levy. Depth is only good when you don't have to use it. 1926, Tony Bennett, rest his soul. 1940, Martin Sheen. 1941, she graced the swimsuit edition. Martha Stewart. 1950, John Landis. 1950, also Joe Marie Payton from Family Matters, the mother from Family Matters. 1964, Nate McMillan. 1964, also Coach Kevin Summerlin. 1969, Doug Overton. I wonder where he is. 1971, Spinderella. In 1977, the biggest cheater this side of Mississippi is Tom Brady's birthday today.
Lord have mercy. Biggest cheater this side of Mississippi. Listen, Pro Fan Talk, Wealthy Mind, Gina, we see you. David Roska, I believe that's how you say your last name. Forgive me if I messed that up. Fourth and John, thanks for being with us today. Happening? You see Fourth and John, Dynasty 215. Thanks for being with us today. I think I said Pro Fan Talk. Wealthy Mind. Robert M., thank you for being with us today. We see all of y'all. Thank you. We appreciate you so much for joining in with us. All of us, listen, we're just about done here at Vetted. Our guest today was none other than the great Fred Barnett.
Arkansas Fred.
Eagles wide receiver, Miami Dolphins wide receiver, a friend of ours, friend of the family. He's vetted just like the rest of us. Listen, y'all, the three of us, we get ready to go get some nuts and watermelon. Because it's nuts and watermelon day. We out of here. We'll see you next week here at Vetted on A2D Radio.